What's up, nerds? What's up, nerds? I am Jared McKinney, the VP of Marketing at Nerd. And today we have an update for you. This is a special update because no longer are these going to be Nerd community updates. So first off, I wanted to share that we're rebranding our community to what it's really always been, and that's the Hyper community. Because the Hyper blockchain, although it has been built, deployed, and is maintained by Nerd, in all actuality, it belongs to the community. And that's what these are. These are community calls. So today we have a very special community call. As you can tell, this is a Hyper community call. This is live, so if I trip and fall down while I'm sitting, you'll see it. If Spencer, starts choking on his words, I will give him CPR live. So we're excited to do this. This is a little bit of a test, but we have a really special agenda for you today. So we have a couple of announcements. I'm going to share an update on our Storm the Bridge competition. After those updates, we're going to do a quick market update from Spencer Montgomery, the host of the Not Financial Advice podcast. And then we have a really special demo for you. Our Perspect team has been hard at work building an application on top of Hyper, and they're going to share an MVP of that with you. And we're going to do a quick Q&A with Jacob Crockett, who is our VP of Data Science at Nerd. So excited to get into it. First off, let's talk about the Storm the Bridge competition. So we announced this about 2 months ago now, and this is a competition for everyone to run their Hyper nodes, bridge their Eon, and also share access to app.nerdunited.com. Now that's where you can create your wallet. That's where you can bridge and receive your distribution of Eon. And that's also where you can send and receive Eon. So we have had in the last month hundreds of new wallets created through that Storm the Bridge competition. And we just wanted to remind the community that that competition will run until the end of the year. So we have just 10 or so days left to continue sharing that out. I think we have 20 or so shared wallets on our leaderboard. I'll be sharing later today just a screenshot of our leaderboard, but we've had lots of wallets created. So get out there and keep sharing those. Reminder that the winner will be receiving a Hyper node, and second and third place will be getting some swag items from Nerd. So that's the update on the Storm the Bridge competition. We appreciate the community helping out, supporting, and sharing that. So next up, we're going to have a market update from Spencer. He's going to tell us, looking at his crystal ball, which altcoins to buy and which altcoins to go all in on. Isn't that right?
Something around altcoins, but primarily Bitcoin.
All right, take it away, Spencer.
All right. So as you can see on my screen here, I've got the Bitcoin chart, and I wanted to highlight something that happened that's very similar to what happened in 2020. So you can see by the circles here, we had this price action where the price went up by 20%, it went flat, and then crashed by 20% back in August. And the same thing happened it was actually in August of 2020. And then you can see what happened. So I want to show you, if the same thing happens in the next 3 to 6 months, what we could expect. So I will highlight this here. And then I'm going to drag it over to mirror that same time period. And you can see that if something very similar happened, we would reach $80,000 by February or March of next year. So that's almost 100% increase, double the price. So now I want to show you really quick why this isn't out of the question, right? So this is just a hypothesis. Now I need to provide evidence to prove this. So the way that I'm going to show that is by showing you the S&P chart as well as the gold chart. So let's go over to gold real quick. And we're going to zoom out to the monthly chart. And we're going to see that we've created a very common pattern in stock charts. So this is called the cup and handle. So going back to 2012, we had this top in gold where it reached about $1,800. And then we had this big bowl that formed. This is the cup formation, followed by the handle that has been developing ever since 2020. So this is over 10 years of price action. And right now we're getting really close to breaking above this neckline formed by this trend line, again, from 2012. And so when that breaks to the upside, we could expect a 20, 30, even 50% move. So the price of gold could go at 2,000 to somewhere between 2,400, 25, and even 3,000 in the next 6 months. So what does that have to do with Bitcoin? Well, let's go back to our Bitcoin to gold chart and show that the chart is trending down. This means when the chart trends down, Bitcoin is going to outperform gold. And so if gold is expected to increase by 20, 30, 50%, we could see Bitcoin increasing by even more than that. So that's how we get to the 80K. Now I want to show you another chart. This is the S&P to gold chart. And this is going to show you like what is the S&P 500 doing in relation to gold. And what I see here is a interesting formation that I've actually seen before. If we go to the S&P chart, and I'm going to rewind to this point right here. This is the S&P chart back in May of this year. We've created, it had topped out in December, and then we had this bottoming formation. Well, if we look at the S&P gold chart, we're seeing a very similar price formation, which would expect that this chart would increase, meaning S&P is about to also improve compared to gold. Now, the last thing I want to show you is the S&P to Bitcoin chart, and we get another downward trend. So I've showed you the gold trend, I've showed you the gold chart, the S&P chart, and the Bitcoin chart to see how they're all coming together, which means that gold is going to increase, the S&P 500 is going to increase, and on top of that, Bitcoin is going to increase by orders of magnitude more than them. We're looking at a 50 to 80 to even 100% move in the next 3 to 6 months. And if that happens, we're looking at all the altcoins, Ethereum, Solana, even going to do more than that. So the next 3 to 6 months are going to be very exciting for all things crypto.
Woo! I know a lot of the news lately this last week has been about the Fed and about rates potentially lowering over the next 12 months. How would that potentially impact some of this, the S&P as well as crypto markets?
Well, that's why that's probably the biggest reason why we've seen prices increase over the last 2 weeks is because of the Fed pausing rates. We've had an unprecedented time where the Fed has raised rates, and that's put a lot of pressure. And so the fact that the markets have rallied considering how much rates have increased is very, a strong sign. And so now that they've paused, they've got a lot of room to grow. Now, that doesn't mean they're just going to keep going forever. I think we have a period of 3 to 6 months before then we could see some significant downside.
Awesome. Anything else you want to share with us?
The last thing I want to share is that you buy Bitcoin when nobody's talking about it. And based on what I'm seeing, nobody is talking about anything related to Bitcoin. People think that maybe the top might be in at 48K. Nobody's expecting it to go to 60, 70, or even 80K. And then when it does get to that point, everybody's going to be looking at 100K, and I don't think we get there. So just try to remember to go against the trend.
It's good advice. Last question for you, 52-week high of Bitcoin. What's your guess?
82,000.
52-week high of Ethereum.
5,800.
Ooh. I like that. That's what I like to see. I think that would be good for all of us and our one follower watching. So exciting stuff. Appreciate it, Spencer. Next up, we're going to have a demo of Perspect. So we're just going to take a minute and have Jacob. He's going to join us. He's actually going to switch Spencer spots here. But one thing before, you guys can go ahead and switch. One thing we should mention is that this is not. One thing we should mention is that this is not financial advice. This is not investment advice. All investments contain risk. So this is just an update of our community and one guy's opinion on markets. So with that being said, our lawyers are happy. We feel good when they're happy. So now we're going to get into some tech. This is the stuff that we really nerd out about. So Jacob's going to share a quick demo of something that we've been working on now for probably a year and a half, really in the making. But this platform is called Perspect. I don't want to steal any of your thunder, Jacob, so take it away.
No, that's great. Thanks, Jared. So hopefully you can see my screen now. So Perspect, perspect.xyz is where you can find this. And you can come admire our beautiful landing page and learn all about it, but I want to demo what's actually there. So you can come here today. Anybody can come sign up, right? And we invite all of you listening, if you haven't yet, to come check it out, sign up.
Yeah, maybe just at a high level, what is Perspect?
Yeah.
You know, before we get into all the dashboards and charts, you know, they can read the headline here, but really, why did we build this? What is it for?
Yeah. So with Perspect, we have a couple of underlying beliefs that we hold really near and dear that we've both learned here while working on this stuff, but throughout our careers, right? There's a lot of skepticism from average and bad stakeholders on people's desire to work, right? You have this idea that people are inherently lazy and they don't want to provide value. We believe the opposite of that. We believe that individuals, especially developers, really want to build real value and bring it to the world. They have no desire to work on really lame, boring stuff that nobody ever uses, right? The most rewarding thing is that they hear people use that a developer builds something and then they hear about somebody using it and how awesome it is and how it's made their life better. We also believe, and we know this, right, through both good and bad experiences, that stakeholders and investors want a return on their money, as they should, right? If somebody's going to spend a lot of money to build a product, especially in software, they should get a return on that. We've built a platform that helps both an individual track and measure their contributions to show that they are making an impact on the things that matter, not just writing lines of code, but a holistic view. And a platform that allows stakeholders to have better insight into the work being done and for them to empower their teams to be working on the right things at the right time. I'm going to focus on the individuals right now because, right, we all know that if any of you are developers or have worked with developers, they're passionate about their tools. If they don't like something, they're not going to use it.
And they'll tell you.
And they'll tell you. And even if their boss is telling them, they'll just start looking for another job if they don't like it, right? Like they're highly qualified individuals and can shop around. Yeah. Maybe not as much right now, but the last 2 years, if it's been anything, it's they got options. So we're trying to build something that is truly a positive experience for an individual. And so I want to focus on that first. Was that any questions?
No,
or anything
I love
on
that. That's great. I think that's helpful context.
Yeah, and so as you can come to this landing page and learn, right, we're really trying to track, measure, and reward contributions. Not in a way that's just like, cool, you did great this quarter, you get a bonus, your boss likes you, maybe you suck up to them or they're just your friend. Instead, it's, hey, you actually made an impact on the things that are moving the company forward, and that's tracked, and you should be able to hold on to that reputation for your whole career, not just having to make something up on your resume when you're looking for a job next time. So let me dive in because I can sit and ramble on this all day. So I want to start off on an individual view. So this is me, right? I'm Jacob. You can see here the contributions that I've been making so far today. On the left-hand side's a heat map, and you can see this key. There's coding, communicating, browsing, and designing are the categories. I have done 0 coding today. If you look at yesterday, I did some.
There you go.
That's a lie. I barely did any. It's not enough to show up on the heat map. You can see throughout the day when and where you are most productive and effective, right? Are there times when you get sucked out of something? Do you get called on your phone and it's not tracked on here yet? Maybe it will be someday. But being able to see and optimize for your own activity. Then you can, as an individual, you can look and see patterns over time, right? That I spent a lot of time on web calls yesterday and on LinkedIn. I'm trying to get as much feedback on this stuff as possible. So really trying to connect with people. You can see Friday, I did not get as much done.
As one does or does not.
As one does or does not. And my day tomorrow will be even less than that. I guarantee it. But you can see a summary of these. And I can also look and see where I'm actually spending my time. And when you look at a day where there's actually code, and I'll show you here in a second, you can see what GitHub project that you were working on and be able to show, hey, look, here's the amount of impact time, right, that's spent on that. For those listening at home and you're thinking, well, Jacob, time isn't equal to impact. I could spend all the time in the world and not get anything done. We know that, all right? Perspect, probably the most innovative thing about this is the way that we've set this up to track. So with a single command line, right, a curl command, you can set up a background process on your computer that then you can add integrations into all the different apps that you use in your workflow. There's like 80 plus right now, and we're building more as people need them. allow you to bring in this data seamlessly, right? I set this up once 3 weeks ago and haven't had to touch it since. And so instead of having to like, start a timer on your desk and say how long you're working on this project, it's keeping track of that. And we're pulling in all of it to a certain extent, right? We're trying to kick out as much information to keep a certain level of privacy, but this is building the foundation for all the other stuff that I talked about at the beginning, right? Being able to actually measure and quantify the contributions that somebody's making, the real business value that's being created, aside from just, hey, lines of code, right? Everybody, you can go to GitHub and see that. So that's the individual view. Where this also is really powerful. So if you're an individual, come sign up. You don't need to be on a team or anything. Sign up right now. It's free. We'd love your feedback. Join. We've had, I think 20 or so people in the last couple of days sign up and start streaming their data.
Where do they go to sign
really
up right
excited
now
about that.
for
So,
Perspect?
yeah. So if you go to perspect.xyz, right, like we had here, it's perspect.xyz, boom, try for free, and it'll kick you to sign up. But, oh yeah, that'll actually kick me to sign up.
There you go.
So there you go. And you'll want to put that you're a contributor, not a manager, or else it won't stream your stuff right now. At another aspect, right? One thing that's really cool about this is the Perspect team in of itself, and some people who are along for the ride. You can see Jared's stuff here. We consider him part of the team, but he's not building this specifically.
I have not coded very much in the last week, is all I'll say.
You can then have your whole team have a little bit more transparency around the things that are being done. So you can see the activity here on the left, this heat map showing here's this code. This color might be a little bit hard to see with the camera setup, but you can see the heat map when people have been contributing. I know this morning all of our devs were in a big meeting trying to figure out some DevOps stuff, and so only one person was using the computer because the rest of them are sitting around it. You can see communication, browsing, and design, right? We got Dan, our wonderful designer over here, working in Figma. And you can see across time. Obviously, this is not a source of truth right now in the sense that it's not capturing everything. We're building up to that, and we want this to empower a team to be able to help each other to make sure they're working on the right things, right? You can look and see Andre right now is coding in this console_3
That's cool. 4
SQL.
minutes ago, he was doing that.
4 minutes ago, he was doing it. You don't see that I'm in it because I have Safari turned off for demo purposes to not be submitting the data. But you can see these things and see where people are contributing and where they're focusing their time. Oftentimes in development, you'll get stuck on things that take longer than expected, and it allows a team to recognize that and huddle around the things that are taking the longest and make sure that they're focusing on the right priorities. And so this is really an MVP that was built. Jared said this has been kind of an ongoing effort for the last year and a half. It's been a lot of stepping stones. And about a month and a half ago, we kind of regrouped and said, hey, we've learned a lot. We've built a lot of cool tech. Let's really get the rubber to the road. And we did a hack week, and in a week came out with this platform. We have lots of things we'll be adding on as it grows and we get more adoption and feedback and learn about that. But yeah, that's Perspect. We're excited. So again, you can go to perspect.xyz and sign up and reach out if you have any questions or concerns or feedback or interest. And I'd be happy to chat with anybody.
That's awesome. Thanks for sharing that. And just a reminder, Perspect it's free to sign up. It won't be free forever. There will be, some paid tiers and some other things like that. So now's a good time to sign up. One thing I just wanted to highlight is, I'm not a developer, so maybe this tool isn't exactly for me. I went and signed up at the beginning of this week and, instantly was able to see how much time I spend doing communication, how much time I spend, on a Chrome browser, working on our website, doing Webflow, stuff like that. Even though I'm not a developer, I'm getting immense value out of being able to see, in real time, how much time every day I spend doing different things. So if you're not a developer, let's say you're a designer, well, you can plug into Figma, you can plug into the Adobe suite. If you design anything in a Chrome browser, you can see that as well. So I'd encourage you, even if you're not a developer, go ahead and sign up. It provides immense value for individuals as well as teams. Being able to see not just what I'm working on, but what my team is working on and how we can better use our resources. I think in this day and age, a lot of companies, at least where I've worked, they hire adults and they treat them as such. This isn't to say, oh, how come you were chatting for 1 hour and 37 minutes last week? This is to say, look, as a team, in this role with this function, we spend far too much time on calls when really our developers, our most important resource, should be spending time building technology. And so you can see that in an instant in this tool in a way that I've never seen in any other platform. So just wanted to highlight that. Anything else you want to share about Perspect with us, where it's headed and some of the exciting things that are coming down the pike?
Yeah. So you may be wondering, well, this is kind of a cool, friendly spyware tool that, what does this have to do with crypto or blockchain? Right? Because that's probably why you're here.
Good question.
Great question, Jacob. I said we've built the foundation for this. So long term, we know that developers, right, want to do good work and want to be recognized for their contributions. We'll be taking summaries of the contributions that are tracked through Perspect and putting them on chain, onto the Hyper blockchain. We're still figuring out exactly what that looks like and when that will happen. We're hoping in the next 2 to 3 months that will be a reality, is for all the people who are tracking their contributions, it'll be on chain. With that as well, there'll be digital rewards, right? Eon, the token from the Hyper blockchain, will be used within this platform, both in multiple directions, right? To reward people for sharing their data and then empower people to pay for things with Eon as well. That if you want more granularity on the chain of your contributions, maybe you can pay additional Eon to get that on there. So lots of cool things coming down.
Yeah, imagine if you could reward your coworkers when they're crushing it with Eon distributed from your team or from your company as a result of just showing up and working every day. I mean, that's a pretty unique experience, and that's something I'm really excited for. So
it's better than just a pat on the back.
Yeah, exactly. Cool. Well, that's all we have for you today. Really quick, I just wanted to mention that we are going to be on a 2-week break until next year. This is our community Christmas present. We want to remind you to share Hyper, share the community, not just Discord, but also our Storm the Bridge competition. And we'll see you next year. Thanks, guys.